Well, we've got one more pour to finish off this river. And this is a clear pour. So I just want to bring it up to the edges and hopefully don't lose too much out on the table. Well, it's not going to take much down here. Okay, so that's the river. And let it cure out overnight. And give it a top coat tomorrow. Have to sand a little bit of red color off right there. Sand it around the edge, blend it in just a little bit. Take this tape off. And tomorrow I'll go over at any place where there's a nub sticking up like that. I'll grind that down before I put another coat on. And you'll never be able to see it. So, I think it's a pretty nice river. So, looking pretty clear. Kind of pretty. Of course, these videos never show up how pretty it really is. So I'll wait about a half hour before I pull that tape off. Okay. I put a band of tape all the way around to make a border, a dam, and I used the last of my epoxy. I'm waiting on more to come, but so I got one coat on here. Managed to get 12 ounces. So I'm going to hit it with a torch, wait about a half hour, and then I'll pull the tape off and let the epoxy run down around the edge and work it in with my finger. So, hang tight, and I'm going to torch it. All right. I would have much preferred to have 16 ounces of epoxy instead of just 12. So this is a thinner coat than I wanted. But after I get it heated up, it should spread pretty nice for this first coat. You can see I imported some flaws from somewhere. Of course, you got to be careful not to set your tape on fire. really want to be sure that I get the bubbles out real good where the river is, so I don't want that to be cloudy. So I don't want to boil it or get it too hot. Still seeing bubbles coming out. I'm going to go this way and go that way and cover it real good. And there's some flaws right there. So I'm going to do something about those. And then with a finger. Little flaw over there. There's some bubbles popping up out of one of the flowers over here. That's one of the problems with using the organic stuff, is it's got air in it. Okay, so when you're using these organic elements in your piece, you can see in that yellow flower there's a bubble or two that's under the surface, but there's a couple big blemishes there, and they had a pretty good bubble in them. They've had one coat of epox over the top of them. So now I'm going in with a knife. Let's see if I can find my knife. Going in with a knife and, digging them out, right, to open the bubble up. Let's see if I can focus it. Yeah, to open that bubble up, and take a toothpick or something and stick it down in there. Try to get it cleaned up a little bit. Okay, so the way I fill these things is I use 2-part epoxy glue. And I get the 5-minute kind, so I don't have to waste a bunch of time waiting on it. And I mix it a little up, and I take some and on the end of a toothpick, and I just fill that cavity. Then I come in and get the next one. Then I get whatever I've got there. And I just dab it on and let it pile up a little bit. Then I take one of these plastic razor blades. And when I put it on there, you don't want to wait for it to set up or it'll get gummy. But when it's, within, say, a minute, you get down there and you scrape that off. And give it maybe a couple of shots. And make sure that the epoxy is staying in the cavity. and then give it a few minutes to dry. And then go back in with a little bit of alcohol on a rag and clean it off. Now you can see my sanding marks because these bubbles, they bubble up and it's like a little volcano. So once you cut them out, you cut the holes out in them, you get the air opened up into the bubble, then you make sure that you sand it so it's down even with the surface of the epox. And then you just put a little bit of epoxy glue in there, clear epoxy glue, and that'll fill that hole to where it won't bubble up anymore, as long as you get it full of epoxy. So that's what I do, and it works pretty good. Okay. Well, I'm ready to make a final pour. Used some masking tape, made a dam all the way around, made all the repairs I need to make, and I'm going to pour about 14 ounces. That should be just about right. So, I'll go get the product and we'll make this happen. So next, ready to pour in the product. And I'm going to hit it right in the middle. Okay, done. Try to get an even spread here. I'm going to use a trowel. Now it's a matter of spreading it right out over the edge. And I want to be sure it goes down right to the tape. That's the part that's going to run down over the edge. Okay. Now we're going to get the bubbles out. And I'll use a torch. You gotta keep that torch moving all the time. You don't want to stop. If you stop, you'll burn that epoxy. So I go back and forth in each direction. So right now is when we want to go in and get out any imperfections that we can see. And I've seen a couple. Something right there. No. That was a piece of epoxy that came out of the container. So I'm looking real close and I'm not seeing anything. So I'm going to let it set here just a couple minutes and then I'm going to hit it with a torch again. Okay, came back to hit it with a little bit more torch work. Make sure I get any bubbles out. Then I'm going to cover it for 30 minutes. Well, timer just went off. And that's not good. You got to take the tape off. If I timed it right, the epoxy is going to start to drip over the edge. So I'll start about here. And it is a mess. try to pull down in a way if I can.
Mr. Clark. Tobias, these miscreants don't know the school song. They've got 3 days' detention. Mr. Donnell, come out. Okay, fellas, come on. Mr. Clark, just want to find all about. They said no one moves during the singing of the school song. Now, if you can't understand that, find yourself another place to work. I was picking up a piece. They contradicted me in front of my students. They're my students. They are my students, Mr. Donnell. Just what are you trying to prove? I'm working my ass off for you. Took the demotion. I'm doing my job. And you're just getting your rocks off by treating me like trash. No, sir. That's what you were picking up. Damn it. You give me the damn respect you would damn well want yourself, or I will kick your black ass. You are suspended, sir. As of right now. Get out.
Alright, tape's off. I'm going to let it drip over the edge a little bit, and then I'm going in with my bare fingers, bare hand, and spread it evenly.
Oh my God. What is going on? Mr. Donnell is suspended indefinitely. You don't have the power to suspend it. Then I can recommend. Ms. Rudy's get me the forms. Yes, sir. Mr. Clark, please. Mr. Darnell is more than just a football coach. He teaches English. Not anymore. The state practice test is tomorrow. Do you have to do this now? Yes, Tobias. If I said it wasn't after tomorrow, what do you want? Wait. Mr. Clark, do you have any idea of the chaos you have caused around here? Nobody knows what you're doing. That's exactly the way I like it. Never made first period for 1 year straight. Forget a diploma is education I hate. I feel like grabbing my books and just draping it. Cause the way I feel, I ain't making it. School, the place I don't really want to be in. The day I quit, that's it. I'm leaving. When people tell me about getting grades up, my reply, am I getting paid or what? In the morning, my alarm awakes me. My mom knows she's a witch, she hates me. Failing all my classes, I don't give a damn.
Now I'm going to torch it just a little bit around the edges. And the epoxy will run a little smoother as it goes, as it heats up a little bit. Get a nice edge on there. Okay, this
Yes, sir.
piece, I believe, is done.
Oh, hi. How you doing? Fine, actually.
I think I've done about all the damage I can do. So I'm going to cover it up and let it cure out overnight.
I told you, if you have any
With a little luck, it's finished.